Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live show. I'm immigration lawyer John Kasravi coming to you at 4 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, just like every Tuesday for the last 5 years, and hopefully another 5 years on top of that. We're here to talk, take your questions about U.S. immigration. I'm a U.S. immigration attorney, California bar, but you practice anywhere in the country. It's a kind of area of law that's federal. It's really based out of Washington, D.C. law, essentially, for most part. And so we can handle and take cases from anywhere in the world. It's a neat part of what immigration law is. And what I like doing, I'm not limited to just the state I live in, the state of California, where I have a bar. I help clients everywhere. So what we do here is we come on Tuesdays and take your questions live about U.S. immigration and see what's going on. It's not individual legal guidance. I'd have a talk with you individually, something like that in private. But we just do a general one. And I'm thinking about having like a private semi-session, semi-public session where it won't be recorded or public. We'll have like 20 people or so, charge $25 to talk in more detail generally. I keep forgetting to mention I'm going to create a marketing campaign so I'll know that exists. I got to set it up. But because a lot of people ask a lot of questions, we can't have individual guidance here, but we go deeper there. And because it won't be broad and publicly videotaped, it'll be easier to talk more openly about things. But I'm going to reach out to me if you like to get your name on the list when it comes out. But I'll create a landing page for it or something. Yek to ask, do you accept NIW cases? I accept good NIW cases. So if you have a strong case, we'll do it. But if it's like a stretch, we don't give false promises to just get your money to file something. An NIW case is a national interest waiver, EB2C category. This is for people whose work is in the national interest of the United States, have a history of doing good work, and they can continue that here. If the government believes it and buys it and accepts it, then, and by buys, I don't mean to demean it. I mean, we have cancer researchers who are, Chinese cancer researchers on the verge of breakthrough as well. They come here and continue that work. We have neuroscientists I've done. It's really broad. It's not even just scientists, but a lot of scientists use that NIW category, and you don't necessarily need citations. Now, the Biden administration has been somewhat more open to these categories. We don't know how tough it's going to be under the Trump administration. But yeah, we do NIWs, but we start with learning to see a CV or resume of you to see your background. And then either say, looks good, let's talk. Or if it's really complicated, we can do a paid consultation, dive in deeper because I've spent some time thinking about it. But that's a general picture of how that looks like. All right, so we're set up right now on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok. Let's go to some questions. User 36 says, how long for my wife to get her visa interview for an approved I-130? I don't know. It depends on the embassy. It depends on how it's going on with the case. Frank asks, hi, just got my receipt notices from USCIS from Maine sent to Chicago lockbox. From what is next step? Got married U.S. citizen. I'm from Germany. F1 student visa, current post OPT. So since you have OPT, you've already done your fingerprints, so it'll probably waive your fingerprinting. If you filed your I-130 with I-485 adjustment of status altogether, you either wait to see if there's a request for evidence, which you probably won't be if you have a solid case. If you sent your medical in already, they won't ask about the medical. And under Biden administration, there'd be no interview. So if you have a clean, well-done case, they just wait for approval. Trump administration may slow things down and also may do an interview. But again, if you did things right and well, everything looks like you did, I don't know anything about you, so I can't really say. But then you just wait for a decision and approval probably. But I haven't read your case, so I can't say for sure. People make the darndest mistake that file on their own that I would never expect. So it's always a wild card. It's usually not the hard and complicated stuff that people make big mistakes on. It's some random thing where they don't fill out wrong, or they just don't feel like getting the details, and it comes to inconsistencies or immigration issue histories or some issues. So I never know, but hopefully I wish you the best, Frank. I just got to wait for the government to act on several parts of it. But congrats on getting married and starting the green card process. Hopefully we'll have it sometime soon next year. Okay, Ray asked to file I-751 separately. That's when you get it. You're welcome, Frank. Thanks for joining us. So I-751 form is if you're married to a green card, or you got your green card based on marriage, and your marriage was rather new still when you got the green card, you got to file another case, I-751, to prove your relationship is real after getting the green card, like 2 years later. And so, excuse me. Here, Ray's asking, is there any chance we'll be affected by Trump administration? So we're going to get this question a lot in today's live. Reality is there's no Trump administration yet. So it's like asking if tomorrow I'm going to get a car accident. Hopefully, if you drive safely, you're not drunk or something like that, it'll be okay. But it's impossible for me to say. One is timelines that people are going to start asking a lot about, and one is Trump administration. If you have a good case, don't worry. But if there's issues with the case, then something to worry about. It's really as much as I could say. But there's no way for me to advise on something like that. Mohammed says, I got my I-130 approved and I-765 approved as well. I got my advanced parole, and my I-485 is still pending. I have emergency. Should I travel, or are there any chance my issues might come back? I can't say any chances. If the sun might not come up tomorrow, for all I know, so I can't give you any chances. I don't know your I-485 case. I have to make sure that was done properly. Usually, they don't deny outright. So if you travel and come back, you'll still have time because there'll be a request for evidence of notice to deny. Rarely will they deny outright, which will create problems for your travel. But not having reviewed your case, I can't give you chances of success or be like, should you do or not risk it. How important is the travel, frankly? Yes, how important it is. But based on what you're telling me, this isn't the place for that. We'd have to schedule a private consultation to get into your individual case. Rohit says, I am green card. I have 2 misdemeanors. Am I in danger? Do you have to talk with attorney in private? We got to see what those misdemeanors are. If they're traffic tickets, no. But if you beat up somebody, yeah. So I don't know. Misdemeanors can mean a lot of different things. So schedule a private consultation with an attorney. Zara asks, how is the Spanish embassy in Madrid? Is their wait time very long? I don't know what kind of visa category you're talking about. So, and I don't track each individual visa category for each individual embassy. You got to do what you got to do. If you want to apply for a visa, then do it. Keebly says, if I have a court hearing and I'm in a different state, is it safe to travel plane or bus? I can't say something's safe or not. And I don't know what kind of hearing you have or what your background is that would cause problems or which states or location you're going to. You can always hire a lawyer, potentially go in your place. So if it's the type of case you can do that, there's too much going on there. You really need to talk with the attorney in private. Lucky 31 says, green card holder with DUI conviction, 3 years, any issues with travel under Trump? I can't really say any issues. You got to understand, I'm a lawyer, and if I just say blanket statements like that, you can come and sue me and take away my license. So I know people don't understand that because it's not. You just want a friendly kind of answer. But when we got a lot of questions already, I say any issues. It's impossible for me. I literally can't say like if you go in a car tomorrow, will you get in a car accident or you get to work or see it's like because people get in car accidents, so it could be issues. It's just impossible. I see immigration department make mistakes every day, mistakes that like U.S. citizens not being allowed in. So I can't answer that. If you're worried, then don't go. One DUI is typically not an issue, but if you got a DUI and you hit somebody, or is DUI based on like drugs and it's in the conviction record, yeah, you should be worried. But you just say DUI. I haven't read your situation, so you got to schedule a private consultation. You got to ask for you got to have an attorney on hand so you can talk with someone that knows your case and all that kind of stuff. But still, if you're worried, then don't go. So if someone's asking me any issues, then don't go. Because if you're that worried, then definitely shouldn't do what you think you want to do. Kozar says, hi, thank you for your video. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate that. Let's see. Gerardo says, hello, I'm a DACA with legal entry. Submitted my forms to legalize via marriage U.S. citizen. That's wonderful, Gerardo. I wish you the best. Rohit says, I'm a green card. We are answering your question, Rohit. What documents do I need to request after entering with AP? You don't need to request any documents. Just get your I-94 record on the website. Go to I-94. And the first or second website from CBP, Customs Border Protection, that opens up. Put your passport information there. Make sure you have an I-94 there to keep track. If you came by car or a land border, it's not going to be there. But you want evidence that you enter by AP or advanced parole. But that's that. And it depends on what kind of case you're trying to do after that. Brown Boy says, after biometrics in I-620, how long time to take decision? 1 to 3 years. Baluch says, my wife, my parents did already interview. He asked the joint sponsor. I submitted. How long take? I don't know. Probably 6 months to a year. Kiki DD. Oh, I answered that question. Chewy says, we answered your question already. I answered how you get proof of legal entry. Spouse of a green card holder, Shergula says, inside USA can't get work permit during adjustment of status. Yeah, anyone who files for adjustment of status, not everybody. If you have some issues, you can't. But typically, a person filing for adjustment of status, a green card in the United States, could file for a C9 work permit and get that. But it depends on the cases, too. Kusei says, I have no criminal record, and I'm affirmative asylum pending. Can I do consular processing with advanced parole? There might be issues. It depends on more of your background. If you have any unlawful presence days, if you work without authorization while asylum is pending, what kind of case you have, what do you need the consular processing for? So a lot going on, Kusei, so we got to know more about you. Alex says, is green card based on asylum usual processing faster than the other? Usually processing faster? It depends. Recently, no. It used to be yes, but now no. Sally says, can we file VAWA after first interview failed? You got a failed interview, you got bigger problems. It's not a place you got to talk with a lawyer in private. Kusei says, I love your videos. Thank you, Kusei. I appreciate that. If you had a chance, Kusei, leave us a review. Go to JQK Law. Just type in Google JQK Law and leave a 5-star on the side part where it says Google My Business and reports. You don't have to write anything about it, but All that help is appreciated if you do that. Everyone else watching. Zara says, I'm a U.S. citizen. My husband is in Spain. Need to apply for spouse visa. U.S. Embassy is slow. They're all slow. I mean, it depends on what you mean by slow. Because people think it's going to take 2 months. I say it's going to take a year and a half, and they think that's too slow. So, Zara, if you're going to do it, you got to do it. So it's slow or fast is relative. Carlita says, I petitioned my brother along with his family. Now his visa is approved. I put his family to follow. Okay, Carlita, what's the question? DeAndre says, question, is it better to do K1 or spousal? My fiance is in Gambia. DeAndre, I got a lot of long YouTube videos on this topic. Just go to JQK Law YouTube page and see what I say about opinions of the K1. I need to inevitably know talk with you and your fiance about your whole history to say what's appropriate or which one's better. But you get a lot of ideas from the videos on YouTube. Perlita says, but they changed their mind. They wants to come. So I don't know, Perlita. I mean, they could probably follow to join. But I got to talk with y'all in private about your case. That seems like issues right now. If your family's changing their mind of coming and not coming, stuff like that. So I got to see what's going on with them. Jago says, marrying abroad in my home country question. Waiting for my citizenship. What papers do I need? Download our guide. How's it there? MarriageImmigrationLaw.com. You go to the website, MarriageImmigrationLaw.com. It has the info that you need. Honorable says, would you suggest sanctuary state cities? I don't have it. I don't know what you mean by suggest, but I don't have any discussion about that. About I have 6,000 my income. Okay. Aesthetics has been 2 years since I applied for I-751. Yeah, those are taking 2-3 years easily, so that could happen. If you're married and been married to a U.S. citizen, you satisfy the naturalization requirements. You look into filing for U.S. naturalization. Let's see. All right. So user 8 says, my sister has and her 2 kids have green cards, but they haven't been to the U.S. in 4 years. Can they just come? They give it a shot. They might hassle them at the border. They shouldn't have been out for that long, but they give it a shot. Javon says, will I-751s be more difficult in administration? As I said earlier, I have no way to know. I'm not in charge of this stuff, and nobody is in charge. Still, new administration hasn't started. They haven't issued any policy updates on that. So these questions are not things I can answer. Matthew, I can scare you, like a lot of other YouTube channels, and say, oh, it's coming, it's coming. Watch give me views and subscribers, but I choose not to scare the hell out of people, and I don't need to. So Matthew says, is the USCIS will ask my fiance to provide any evidence of marriage status back home? I'm going to. It depends on what country you're from. Like in Egypt, they have records about marriage and number and stuff like that you can get, but it just depends on the case and what country, all that kind of stuff. Not typically. Typically, you just write a statement that says so, but, it can be different. Your voice isn't clear, so much background noise. Yeah, background noise just turn up in 4 minutes. My apologies, aesthetic. This recording is going to be a bust because of the situation, but I didn't want to turn off the thing that's going on in the background. Sorry, everybody. So, okay. How long for the embassy to send interview letters? Well, that depends on the embassy you're dealing with. So if you're getting a green card through the consular processing, you're outside the United States, whenever the U.S. embassy is ready to have your interview, they'll tell the National Visa Center and they'll forward you an email that has a time and date. Now, some countries are faster than others. Some categories are different. For example, if it's a brother and sister case, it might take longer because those are slower to get to the interview point. Or sometimes some countries, if you're from Iran or from Pakistan, Nigeria, Kenya, it can take years for them to schedule an interview. But if you're from Belgium, it might take 3 months. So it really depends on a lot of different factors like that. Ali says, 4 months ago, I got the DS-260 approval. It's not approval, you just submitted it. And they still haven't set a date. So, okay, you just submitted your paperwork, and that's DS-260. Did you submit civil documents and FAA support? Did you get documentarily qualified? And then after that, again, as I said earlier, depends on all these different factors. Javon says, also, do you expect K-1 visa process to slow down overseas, Philippines? I don't have any expectations. I just deal with things as the facts as they are on the ground. Ali says, 4 months ago. Okay, I said answer user 8 already. Nadia, she's coming to the U.S. with B1 visa on a file I-130. Well, you shouldn't be coming using a tourist visa with immigrant intent. But if she comes and she decides to stay, then that's a different situation. Fabian says, what's the quickest you ever seen a green card approved? Like 10 days. Deandra says, what is the YouTube channel? Could you type it? Can't hear because of the noise. Sure, it's JQK Law YouTube channel or U.S. Immigration Talk. Then background noise and pretty soon. U.S. Immigration Talk. Rob says, hey, can I submit my spouse's transcripts of tax later and could just use 1040 tax return? Yes, possible. Sally says, I submitted my I-485 in September. How long would it typically take for approval? Came on K1 visa. There's no typical time, 3 to 9 months average. Fabian says 10 days after submission. Yeah, but I mean, each case is different. These are rare things. But yeah, 10 days after submission. Okay, I think the sound's going to probably slow down for now. Go away soon. T says, my boyfriend had his final trial at the court for his asylum a few days ago, and his decision is on hold. Ooh, hopefully it goes well. You're welcome, Fabian. Rob says, the best to notarize affidavits. We don't do notarization unless it's a specific document the government asks for. If you download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, there's a sample affidavit, personal affidavit, if it's a statement, not the transcripts or something like that. But if you're doing a personal statement, there's language you could use that's like being notarized, and a sample is in the guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Being Sham says, submitted my I-485 in July 2022 through my wife. She's a citizen, active viewing. Well, that's a long time. Usually it doesn't take that long. Rarely it does. I got to see what's going on. Maybe getting help from congressperson and nudge it in, just see what's going on. But and maybe it just takes that long, but not usually. Can you talk about 212 waiver processing times? Yeah, it takes forever. Unfortunately, 212 waivers probably take 9 to 12 months on average. Could be getting longer. It depends on what kind of waiver you're requesting too. Famous says, what is a marriage-based green card? It's a green card based on marriage. Go download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. T says, how long does it take to a decision? There's no deadlines for decision. How long do they want to take? Mikey says, submitted I-130 and I-138. I'm not sure what 318 is. For my wife that lives in Guyana, I'm recently married. Okay, I don't know what I-138 is, so I don't want to tell you. Oh, I-138. Okay, October. Yeah, wait a year if you're a U.S. citizen. If you're a green card holder, wait 2-3 years. Parlito says, I petitioned my brother's family is included. My brother's got his visa. Now his family's had to come. What next? You contact the embassy to schedule an appointment with them, fill out their documents to do what's called follow to join. That's pretty standard. Divash says, is there any restrictions for stock trading F1 students? Well, it depends on if it starts blurring the line where you're working or not on the stock trading. If you're investing, that's not a problem. But stock trading may start looking like a job, so you got to be careful. They haven't issued any particular statements on this, but if it starts looking to be a job of yours, that's a problem. Okay, see, it says, how long does it take for processing marriage-based green card for spouse of green card holders? Probably 2 to 4 years. Rob says, my work permit expiring March 2025 through affirmative asylum, and I'm filing marriage-based adjustment this year. Do you think I need to submit renewal of work permit through asylum, or is AOS okay? If you submit a fee and get a new AOS one, probably okay. Sometimes if you have an asylum-based work permit, they'll deny the C9, and that happens. I forgot what the exact rule is on that, Rob, so I got to make sure. I don't want to talk about it more than that, but sometimes they'll deny it because they'll say you already have one based on that category, this and that. Yeah, I don't have an answer off the top of my head because I myself, I rarely deal with asylum adjustments, so I don't remember what the exact rule was. Okay, Wesley says, I'm a J1 visa teacher. Can I waive my 2-year home residency requirement? I don't know. I got to see more information about your background. How come you go subject to it? What country you're from? How strict the embassy is on it? And how much things they have? Why you even need to waive the 2-year residency? What's going on? So, okay, Wesley, download a guide. On YouTube, I have a video on this on J1 visa waivers by the embassy. But I got to see exactly what the reason. There's so much I got to know to be able to answer that. Say it says, hey, bro, I got married U.S. citizen. I want to start the process. How long does it take? Because it takes forever. So go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, download my guide, and then schedule a consultation to talk about it. Say it says, hey, all right, so that Sam says, it's been almost 1 year. I submitted affidavit of my parents, but still didn't get the call to the interview. Yeah, this could take a while. Lisa says, what could be done if you apply for a 212 waiver and now it's 2 years and the bar is up? Well, just move the case forward and say we don't need it anymore. So I got to see what's going on in your case, what kind of waiver was needed. I'm guessing you probably had like a 10-year bar. I don't know. At least there's too much going on. If you had a waiver, that means you got a complicated case. So we guys didn't talk about that. Nisha says, can someone come to U.S. on a tourist visa, get married, or return to their home country? Will they be able to return? What documents need to be filed? Nisha, that's like too general a thing. Schedule a private consultation. Download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. There's a fine line of being too specific and too general. The questions are too general, we can't do it here. If it's too specific, can't do it. It's a sweet spot in the middle, and that just doesn't meet the threshold. Ali says, how long does it take for a complete unification of spouse? A complete reunification of spouses. What kind of reunification are you looking for? I-730? Are you looking for I-485 or constant processing? Are you a U.S. citizen or a green card holder? What country are you from? Are there waiver reasons that I-601s needed? So it could be 1 month, it could be 10 years or more. If they have permanent bar, it could be 15 years probably. Fardo says, which one's faster, fiance or K1? What do you mean by faster? Do you mean by getting to the United States? Fiance visa K1 or fiance visa is the same thing. So your question right there doesn't make sense. But so Pardosa, you're saying, do you want fiance visa or fiance visa? That'd be marriage case. It depends again what kind of marriage case you're doing. And fiance, do you mean coming to the U.S. or getting the green card? Kazi says, you recommend mandamus for affirmative asylum, or that hurt my case? I don't make any recommendations here. Will it hurt you? If you have a strong case, you have nothing to worry about. But if you want to spend the money for mandamus, you can do that too. What God is good, that's true, says, what is the chance of success rate or appeals reality? Don't look at it like that. It's very bad to look at a chance of success rate on appeals. First of all, each case is different. I don't know anything about you. Sometimes the government makes mistakes. Like we have this one case we're appealing right now where the government didn't read our application. None of it makes any sense. The denial says that, like, I can't go too much details, but none of it makes any sense. It looks like someone just slammed their hand on the keyboard and wrote denial. So we're appealing it, saying none of this makes any sense what they're saying. So that's going to probably get approved, but I don't know. So don't look at statistics mean nothing. You're a human being. Statistics are averages. Is a person, they say the average person has in the world has 2.1 children. Who has 2.1 children? You have 2 children or have 3 children. So the averages don't mean anything. Some people have 0 kids. Some people have 1. Some people have 4. So we got to see what you have, and that's what we got to look at. Do not sit and look at averages. Do not track that stuff. Doesn't help. Monter says, I smell DS5535 come my way. Yeah, probably. That's why council processing was not a good idea on that case. Rob says, what is the usual time period to be traveled? I don't have time period. Today's questions are not too good. I don't have time traveled. I don't have time nights. Say it says, what would be an issue for green card holders traveling outside the U.S. for a month to visit family? Nothing, unless you got your green card based on asylum, you're visiting home country, or you've defrauded somehow or something. But a month normally it's not an issue, but I don't know anything about you, say it. So I don't know if you have a particular issue. For example, you have criminal history, you have arrest in the U.S., you leave, they might let you back in or put you in removal. I don't know. Perlita says, for child, what about child? If the child's under 21 or based on Child Status Protection Act is under 21, then they're fine. But you have to have locked in the case properly. There's a lot going on. I have a video on the Child Status Protection Act on YouTube that you catch. Sam, if any way to make it quicker, maybe you might do expedite request or a lawsuit, depending on what kind of case it is and what the processing times are. Sam, USCIS states that processing times for I-1 2.5 are 8.5 months. Do you believe that? No, I always at 2 months. Those that's more realistic. Sandra says, when USCIS says we made a mistake accepting your brother's case, can we file a lawsuit? I've been waiting 2 years. I don't know exactly what you mean by made a mistake accepting your brother's case. What kind of case was it? What was the mistake that went on? What were the damages for you to do a lawsuit? We got to see what's going on. Adam says, traveling for 6 months and 4 days in 1 year, several trips, is that proper citizenship? We got to look at the whole picture. Is your life attached to the United States? You have leases, you have own a home, is your family here, your children go to school here, do you have work here? Is it 1 6 month and 4 day trip, or is it 2 months here, 4 months here, and then adds up 6 months, 4 months? But just if you had one trip of more than 6 months, yeah, that's going to trigger a red flag immediately. We have to talk about it. But if it's just once and your life is here and there's a reason for it, maybe they'll forgive it. But we got to see your whole life picture and paint a perfect picture for them to show that it was just a fluke and it wasn't a typical thing. You never left your residency, your continuous residency in the United States. El Jefe says, I have questions, please. Those who have a visitor visa already, will they be canceled by Trump? Why do you think that would happen? Sandra says, can we take advantage of that? I'm not sure what you take advantage of. Thank you, El Jefe. Sorry, give you a swift response for all the roses you gave me. But there's no, I don't know. They won't validate visas. They'll just do bans. So you can't use the visa if there is something like that. God is good. Or we answer your question. Hijrat says, the immigration judge granted NI withholding information about it. They would have talked with you completely when they grant you NI withholding information. So withholding means they're not going to kick you out of the country because for some reason they're going to let you stay here. It doesn't lead to status, but you just stay here in that category. What is your website? jqqlaw.com. Monty says, for green card petition, if partners are living in different states, going to be a problem in the interview? Not if you have a good reason. So you have to document the good reason. Perlita follows up, petition 2003, approval 2009, child is 25 now. Are they still considered 21? I got to do a Child Status Protection Act analysis, but the 6 years is good that it took them 6 years to prove it, but you have to have timely filed certain documents, and I don't know if you did that or not. So I got to check that and check when the case was current on the visa bulletin. So there's an analysis I have to do. But Perlita, I have a detailed video of this on YouTube. And it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago I did it. So do the calculation there. But if you still want my answer to that, schedule a private consultation because I got to sit and do the math and the calculation. It takes 20 minutes for me to do that. Matthew says, for I-130, does my fiance need her divorce certificate or first marriage certificate? Need a divorce certificate. Better to have the marriage certificate too, but definitely divorce certificate, original. Sandra says, when USCIS says we made a mistake, we already answered that question. I don't know. How much is your consultation? Free? Definitely not free. I lowered the consultation fee for potential people wanting to do marriage cases, so that's why I have different fee levels. But go to our website, jqqlaw.com, explain your situation, and I'll tell you how much the fee is. Sada says, how long does it take to get an actual green card replacement after it expired? 3 weeks to 3 years. Kadri says, I paid my green card fee on July 31st and didn't get it. How long does it take? 3 weeks to a year to maybe it gets lost. Monty says, for green card petition, I answered that question. El Jefe, I already answered your question. Monty says, for green petition, okay, I answered that question. Code Shark, where can one find the average wait time for asylum interviews per state? I don't think they provide information on that. Obarzo says, what ways can overstayed visa for 20 years to correct status? Well, if you enter lawfully, marriage U.S. citizen is pretty much the way to do it. Hassan says, hello, sir, I have a question, please. If my spouse needs to take my original documents as a petitioner for interview or just a copy, it depends on which documents they are. They should have your original, like divorce certificates, if you've been divorced, your marriage certificate that you have together. But typically that's about it. It's just a lot of civil documents like that. Depends on your situation. Catherine says, I have a police report that says my husband assaulted me. He's a citizen. Do I qualify for VAWA? Maybe. Talk with attorney in private. We'll see. But, I mean, that's a good start right there. Mahdi says, can I have your contact information? Yes, jqqlaw.com/contact. Mikey says, Sri left the live, married wife in Guyana, so about 30, 10 months. Yeah, that's about right. How long asylum interview, sir? Half a day. Choi says, thank you, you're welcome. Moose says, DQ already, waiting for the interview, lost my original translation. Can I get a new one from Valid Place? Yeah, and then upload that to SEAC. And May says, if Trump activates the Enemy Act of 1917, does that mean he can revoke green cards or citizenship? I don't know if he could. I don't know. This is like, it's really, these aren't, people worry about stuff that, we have no way of knowing. Maybe not. Is he going to overthrow the government and send all, Asian people to prison camps? Probably not. But I mean, who knows? They took Japanese and put them in camps back in the. I don't really know. I can't tell the future. I only discuss what I know about immigration part up to today, how it works. I can't really speculate on this stuff. Hassan says, I mean, my documents like I-864 and W-2. W-2s are never going to be originals anyways, Hassan. The I-864, sometimes the embassy will ask for originals. I haven't sent an original in 10 years, but that's that. Filed I-130 for my mom. Does she have a chance to adjust her status? Well, you have to be in the United States lawfully first. So I don't know, Mufasa. I'm not sure if I need to know more information. Sally says, I-130 green card holders. What is the accurate time frame if I file to, as you can explain? There's no accurate time frame because there's a backlog in the F2A category. So it depends on when that backlog starts moving forward. So maybe 3 years on average. But I mean, we don't know. We don't know because that time frame it changes every month. Sean says, do you know if Trump's going to do away with 2-year immigration Biden program? I'm not sure what the 2-year immigration Biden program is. Catherine says, I have a police branch, so that can K1 petition be expedited? Theoretically, yes, but unlikely. U.S. girl asks, can I travel to Canada on immigration visa on passport? Haven't received green card yet. So the immigrant visa that's stamped by CBP, the Customs Border Protection, after you enter the U.S. the first time with the immigrant visa, that will act as a green card for 1 year. So if you use that stamped visa for 1 year, it could be a green card for you. Javon says, how serious of an offense is it to not update your address within 10 days as a green card holder? So what happens is when you're a green card holder, you have to update your address with Form ER11. They say you go to prison and fines and stuff like that. I never heard it actually happen, so it's not very serious at all, although they make it sound really serious. But just try to update your address as your green card holder or any immigrant that is in the United States. Albazer says, does entering lawfully mean entry with a tourist visa? That could be a form of entry lawfully. Yes, it's lawful admission. We'll take a few more questions. The show is going a little long now. Sabrina says, is there a way I can get permanent residency as a holder of TPS? Not directly to that. You have to figure out a way to get residency regularly and add that on top. Julie says, DACA recipient legal entry Is employment sponsorship the quickest way to adjust? Well, you won't be able to adjust because you haven't maintained status for longest period of time. So, because DACA is not status, so you'll probably have to do consular processing, or if you're married to a U.S. citizen. But through employment, you're not going to be able to adjust unless you're 18 and a half years old, which is unlikely. Even if you're 18 and a half, you probably spend too much time out of status. I mean, without status at the point to be able to adjust. How long does it take for filing for my spouse to have a green card? It's going to take 2 or 3 years at least. Hassan says, I have another question. My income is $40,000 per year. Which form do I need to fill out? I-6 price. Always do the I-64. Don't do the I-6 easy. It creates more work because most people don't send the I-6 for easy. So the government officers reviewing it like probably aren't used to it. And so it just creates bounce back when they have problems. Just fill out the regular I-64. Just 4 extra pages or 6 extra pages that are blank anyway. So don't make life complicate yourself by trying to go the easy route. Okay, just sent in are sifting through questions that are new, not like repeats. Is it possible for one individual to have 2 I-130s? Yes. If given expedited removal 5-year bar, what could be done? Married U.S. citizen. Well, you could request a waiver of the 5-year ban bar, but there's other things. So they might have given you a 5-year bar to your entry, expedited removal, but even that 5-year ends or you get a waive, you might have other situations like they may have done it because you did fraud and misrepresentation, which is like a general ban, which you got to get waived anyway. So you could potentially fix it, but you got to file a bunch of waivers potentially. So we got to get into your case, Lisa, to see what's going on. You're welcome, Mikey. Okay, we're getting a lot of questions that are like the same thing from different people. So that's why I'm skipping through these to try to get something that's new because I answer these stuff. Is it possible to adjust through VAWA if the abuser is also illegal? No, VAWA is based on marriage to a lawful permanent resident or citizen. So if they're illegal, potentially you could file a claim to what's called the U visa for being a victim of violence. But you got to look into that. We don't do U visas at our firm, but VAWA wouldn't work if you're not married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder. Pyle says, hi, can a U.S. citizen be deported? No, not really. Unless they were naturalized and they get denaturalized, they take away, and then they do that. And let's see. Last question. I guess Yabby says, I filed for mandamus to get my asylum interview, but the attorney used the wrong address. That's not good. Which wrong address? How they could fix that probably. I got another question. Cal says, my husband did the I-130 at the same time for me and my kids. Mine got approved, but theirs not theirs. I'm stressed. Don't be stressed. Call USCIS and ask for it to be expedited. And if USCIS doesn't do that, then contact your local congressperson and keep counting them, calling them until they approve it. That should work. KSR, sorry to keep asking. I'm just waiting to get an answer. KSR, I probably answered you. I don't know what you just sent DS260 on 11/21. How long should there be? So I've already answered your question early in the program, KSR. There's no answer. It depends on what country you're from. Depends on what kind of case you have. Inevitably, whenever they get around to it. So I don't have a clear answer to that one. Shavi says, I have approved I-130, skipped interview for I-45. Should I withdraw my court asylum? Well, depends. If you're in court, there's a situation where the court might have to close the asylum, so the I-45. So you might have to get your case closed first for the I-45 to be approved. Shafi, your case is complicated, so you need to talk with an attorney in private. And you're welcome, Callie. Okay. And one last question from Frank. They have never taken fingerprints when I got my OPT. Is it still going to be waived? No, they should have gotten fingerprints on your OPT or at some point. So if they didn't, they'll get it now. That's kind of weird. They didn't do that. MH asked about simple assault. I can't. No charges were filed. No arrest was made. No, only incident report exists. The case didn't go to court. So MH probably is okay, but I have to get into it with you to see what happened there or why that. You need to get you need to get police reports. You need to get federal FBI records. It depends on where the crime occurred, where the alleged assault occurred. But you need to get any paperwork you can that shows you're clean. Powell says, can a mentally ill person, U.S. citizen, be deported? No, where would they send a U.S. citizen? We can't just kick out people from our country. It's like you can't just kick out people from their home. MA says, could it still affect citizen application? Does it need to be reported application? Yeah, maybe. MH, I got to see how bad it is, the situation, what it says in the FBI report, in the state reports, and any report we get before I can make a determination. I can't. That's too simplistic and individualistic for me to be able to answer here. Frank says that applied online, got my approval within 2 months, no RFE or fingerprints. For OPT, yeah, well, that's good actually, but they're supposed to fingerprint you for OPT. Maybe you have fingerprints in the past, but then maybe do it now. It's not a big deal, it's just fingerprints, so it should be okay. Can K1 petition be expedited? You can always request it. They may do it, they may not do it, bro. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you, everyone. God bless. Be safe. We're gonna start doing a private live show so you spend more time answering more in-depth questions in a private setting. So if you're interested in that, go to our website, jqqlaw.com. Fill out the short form. Let me know. And if we get a group enough, like 10 people or something, I'll send an announcement saying, okay, this day, $25. We'll spend half an hour, maybe do live video on video, and we could talk more longer depth. And it still won't be an individual legal consultation, but we get into deeper kind of stuff here than like the million questions we get answered here. And I could follow up. I could ask you questions to dig in deeper, and you guys can see what we're looking for in these cases to help out. Until next one, we'll see you next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Contact us, jqqlaw.com/contact, jqqlaw.com/contact. Until next one, God bless, be safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.